Hello everyone. Welcome to an exciting session on excretory products and their elimination. Today, we are diving deep into disorders, the conditions that can affect our body's vital waste removal system. We'll explore this topic across 4 levels: easy, medium, hard, and hardest, ensuring you build a strong foundation and gain competitive insights for your NEET preparation. Let's begin this journey to understand how our body's filters can sometimes go wrong and what happens then. Ready to discover the basics of kidney problems? Let's start with a simple overview of common disorders that can affect our excretory system. Our excretory system, especially the kidneys, is like a sophisticated filtration plant, crucial for removing waste and balancing fluids. When this system falters, it leads to disorders, causing toxic buildup and impacting overall health. These issues range from minor discomforts to life-threatening conditions. Understanding them is key to appreciating the kidney's role. For instance, kidney stones are hard mineral deposits, glomerulonephritis is inflammation of the filters, and renal failure means the kidneys stop working. Each has a distinct impact, from severe pain to dangerous waste accumulation. Keeping our kidneys healthy is paramount for a functional body. Let's explore some common kidney disorders in more detail. First, kidney stones, or renal calculi, are like tiny, hard pebbles made of minerals and salts that form inside your kidneys. Imagine calcium oxalate or uric acid crystallizing. They can cause excruciating pain and block urine flow. Next, glomerulonephritis refers to the inflammation of the glomeruli, the tiny, intricate filters within your kidneys. When these filters are inflamed, they can't effectively remove waste or excess fluids, leading to issues like blood or protein in your urine. Finally, renal failure, or kidney failure, is a severe condition where your kidneys lose their vital ability to filter waste from your blood, leading to a dangerous buildup of toxins. A common example is how drinking too little water can make your urine more concentrated, increasing the chance of forming those painful kidney stones. Time to test your understanding. Here are 3 practice questions based on what we've just covered. Pause the video, try to answer them, and then check your knowledge. This will help solidify the basic concepts of excretory disorders. Now, let's take a step further and delve into the causes, symptoms, and initial treatments for these excretory disorders. Let's deepen our understanding of kidney stones and glomerulonephritis. Kidney stones aren't just about pain, they're often caused by factors like chronic dehydration, a diet high in certain minerals, or even obesity. Symptoms can be quite severe, including sharp pain, blood in urine, and sometimes nausea. Simple treatments involve increasing fluid intake to help pass small stones or medical procedures like lithotripsy for larger ones. Glomerulonephritis, on the other hand, can stem from infections, autoimmune diseases, or even certain medications. It manifests with symptoms like blood or excessive protein in the urine, leading to foamy urine and swelling. Treatment often involves managing blood pressure and sometimes using steroids to reduce inflammation, depending on the underlying cause. Next, let's clarify renal failure. It's broadly categorized into acute and chronic. Acute renal failure, or acute kidney injury, is a sudden, rapid decline in kidney function, often reversible if caught early. Think of it as a sudden shutdown, possibly due to severe dehydration or blood loss. Chronic renal failure, or chronic kidney disease, is a more insidious, gradual, and usually irreversible loss of kidney function over months or years. This is commonly seen in individuals with long-standing diabetes or uncontrolled high blood pressure. Both conditions lead to severe symptoms like swelling, fatigue, and a dangerous buildup of waste products, known as uremia. When kidneys fail completely, we turn to dialysis. What is it? Simply put, dialysis is an artificial process that cleans your blood, mimicking what healthy kidneys do. It's like having an external filter for your body. There are 2 main types: hemodialysis, where your blood is pumped out of your body, filtered by an artificial kidney machine called a dialyzer, and then returned. The other is peritoneal dialysis, which uses the lining of your abdomen, called the peritoneal membrane, as a natural filter. A special fluid is introduced into your abdomen, absorbs waste, and is then drained out. Both are life-saving treatments for renal failure, helping to remove excess waste and fluid from your body. Alright, it's time for some medium-level practice questions. These questions will challenge you to apply the deeper explanations we've just discussed. Take your time, think through each option, and consolidate your understanding. Good luck! Ready to dive deeper? Let's analyze the complex mechanisms behind excretory disorders and connect them to broader physiological theories. Let's dissect the pathophysiology of kidney stones and glomerulonephritis. Kidney stones aren't just random deposits, they're a result of urine becoming supersaturated with specific minerals like calcium oxalate or uric acid, leading to crystal formation. Factors like urinary pH, low urine volume, and metabolic disorders play crucial roles. There are different types. Calcium stones are most common, but uric acid stones are linked to diet, and struvite stones often indicate chronic UTIs. Glomerulonephritis, in contrast, is largely an immune-mediated injury. Antigen-antibody complexes deposit in the glomeruli, triggering an inflammatory cascade that damages the filtration barrier. This can manifest as either nephritic syndrome, with inflammation and blood in urine, or nephrotic syndrome, characterized by severe protein loss. Understanding these underlying mechanisms is crucial for targeted treatment. Now, let's compare acute kidney injury, or AKI, and chronic kidney disease, CKD, in more detail. AKI is a sudden, sharp drop in kidney function, often reversible. It's categorized by its cause, prerenal, due to reduced blood flow, intrinsic, from direct kidney damage, or postrenal, caused by urinary tract obstruction. Think of prerenal AKI as a temporary drought for the kidneys. CKD, however, is a gradual, irreversible decline, staged 1 to 5 based on GFR. Stage 5 is end-stage renal disease, requiring dialysis or transplant. The progression involves the gradual loss of nephrons, with the remaining ones initially compensating but eventually failing. This distinction is vital for understanding prognosis and management strategies. The table on screen summarizes these key differences. Renal failure has profound systemic impacts, disrupting the body's delicate balance, or homeostasis. One major issue is electrolyte imbalance. For example, hyperkalemia, or high potassium levels, is a life-threatening complication, as are imbalances in phosphate, calcium, and magnesium. The kidney's failure to excrete hydrogen ions and reabsorb bicarbonate leads to metabolic acidosis, making the blood too acidic. Furthermore, the kidneys produce erythropoietin, a hormone essential for red blood cell production. In renal failure, its deficiency causes anemia, leading to fatigue. Finally, altered calcium phosphate vitamin D metabolism results in renal osteodystrophy, a bone disease. These widespread effects highlight the kidney's critical role beyond just waste excretion, influencing nearly every system in the body. Alright, here are your hard-level practice questions. These questions require a deeper understanding of the physiological mechanisms and classifications of excretory disorders. Take your time, analyze the options carefully, and apply your knowledge. This is excellent preparation for NET. Welcome to the hardest level. Here, we'll explore competitive level insights, advanced treatments, and the engineering marvels that support life when kidneys fail. This is where you gain an edge. Let's dive into advanced diagnostics and critical risk factors for renal disorders. Urinalysis is more than just a dipstick test. It reveals proteinuria, indicating glomerular damage, and the presence of casts, which pinpoint specific kidney pathologies like tubular injury or inflammation. Blood tests, particularly serum creatinine and blood urea nitrogen, are crucial, but the estimated glomerular filtration rate, or EGFR, calculated from these, provides the most accurate staging for chronic kidney disease. Imaging techniques like ultrasound, CT, and MRI offer detailed views of kidney structure, detecting stones, cysts, and obstructions, while a renal biopsy provides a definitive diagnosis for complex glomerular diseases. Remember, uncontrolled hypertension and diabetes are the primary architects of chronic kidney disease globally, underscoring the importance of managing these conditions to preserve kidney health. Now, let's compare the engineering marvels of dialysis, hemodialysis versus peritoneal dialysis. Hemodialysis involves drawing blood, passing it through an artificial kidney, called a dialyzer, where a semi-permeable membrane and dialysate fluid work on principles of diffusion and ultrafiltration to remove waste and excess fluid before returning the cleaned blood to the patient. This requires vascular access, typically an arteriovenous fistula, and is usually done in a clinic. Peritoneal dialysis, however, uses the patient's own peritoneal membrane, the lining of the abdominal cavity, as the filter. Dialysate fluid is introduced into the abdomen, dwells for several hours, allowing waste to diffuse, then drained. This offers more flexibility and can be done at home. While hemodialysis offers faster clearance, peritoneal dialysis can better preserve residual kidney function, but carries a higher risk of peritonitis and infection. Renal transplantation represents the ultimate treatment for end-stage renal disease. It offers a significantly improved quality of life and survival compared to long-term dialysis. Donors can be deceased or living, with living donor transplants generally yielding better outcomes. The surgical procedure involves implanting a healthy kidney, typically in the lower abdomen. However, the patient must adhere to lifelong immunosuppressive therapy to prevent rejection. Rejection can be hyperacute, occurring within minutes due to preformed antibodies, acute, happening days to months later, mediated by T cells, or chronic, a slow decline over years. Understanding these mechanisms and managing immunosuppression is key to transplant success, a complex interplay of immunology and surgical precision. This intricate process transforms lives, offering a renewed chance at health and freedom from dialysis. Finally, let's consider prevention, public health, and the future of renal care. Primary prevention is paramount, adopting healthy lifestyles, rigorously controlling blood pressure and blood glucose, ensuring adequate hydration, and avoiding nephrotoxic drugs. Secondary prevention focuses on early detection, especially in high-risk groups, through routine screenings like urinalysis and GFR estimation, to prevent the progression of kidney disease. Chronic kidney disease is a global health crisis, imposing a massive burden on healthcare systems worldwide. Public health initiatives are crucial for raising awareness, promoting early screening, and ensuring equitable access to treatment. Looking ahead, the field is rapidly evolving with advancements in bioartificial kidneys, which aim to replicate natural kidney function, regenerative medicine using stem cells, and personalized medicine approaches that tailor treatments based on an individual's genetic profile. These innovations promise a brighter future for patients with renal disorders. Now, for some challenging questions. Here are the first 5 questions for the hardest level. These are designed to test your in-depth knowledge, analytical skills, and ability to connect various concepts. Pause the video, work through each question carefully, and consider all the nuances. This rigorous practice is essential for excelling in any ET. Take your time, think critically, and apply everything you've learned. Good luck with these advanced problems. Let's continue with the remaining 5 hardest level questions from 6 to 10. These questions will further push your understanding and critical thinking abilities, covering complex scenarios and intricate details of excretory disorders. Remember, consistent practice with challenging questions is key to mastering the subject for any ET. Analyze each question thoroughly, Recall the advanced concepts we've discussed and choose the best possible answer. Keep up the great work. And that brings us to the end of our comprehensive session on excretory products and their elimination. I hope you've gained a deep understanding of the disorders and their complexities, from the basics to the most advanced concepts. For more such engaging and in-depth content, make sure to visit synapse.omaps.in. There, you'll find a wealth of resources tailored for your NEET preparation. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for regular updates and more exciting lessons. Your support helps us create more valuable content for you. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep aiming for success. Thank you for joining me today.